And so on to the last of the Olympic classes on this first day of finals. And Italy are in lane 3 and Australia in lane 4. But a full rundown. Closest to you are the French, then Great Britain, 2 from the bottom of your picture. Then in green and gold, Australia in lane number 4. Then Italy in blue in 3. Norway, and on the far side, New Zealand.
Good takeoff there from the British crew. They are the favourites. Very powerful crew. But Australia been getting better and better right the way through this regatta.
And just in these early stages, again, just to emphasise that crews from the B final earlier today who've qualified for the Olympic Games include Germany, who was 7th, and then Romania, who were 8th, ahead of Egypt 9, Poland 10, and Belarus 11. And already a really positive start there by Matthew Pinsent in the stroke seat.
Absolutely, Matthew Pinsent, the key to this boat, just the way he takes off, the power that he can unleash when the chips are down. Sitting there too is Steve Redgrave. He leads the all-time greats. He's got 12 gold medals, 12 titles, and here they are now again, about half a canvas up there on Italy.
Italy, the same quartet as the one that achieved the bronze medal a year ago. That's Carlo Monati, and then Lorenzo Carboncini, and then Riccardo Di Rossi and Walter Mollea.
And the British have got one change since last year. Tim Foster got injured during the winter, had an operation on his back. Ed Code has now sat there into the 3 seat behind Pinsent, and he's held his place. Very tough competitor.
World Cup champions this year, unbeaten in the 3 regattas at Haselwinkel, Vienna and Lucerne, now looking for a hat-trick of World Championship gold medals, having won in '97 in France, last year in Germany.
They're cruising now at 37.5, their best rate, moving very, very nicely. Matthew Pinsent took them off at 49 strokes a minute, but now they are in their best rhythm, and it's moving beautifully. Italy here, really shadowing them closely, with Australia just tucked in behind them. So it's these 3 really out in front, and no sign really of Norway, who had been so tough in Lucerne a month ago.
Interesting about that, Dan, because looking at them in the semi-finals, they look absolutely exhausted in qualifying.
Yeah, I saw Norway out practicing before the regatta started, and they just looked very heavy, very ponderous, and they didn't really seem to be in the same kind of state they were in Lucerne. But sitting behind the British, there's a great race going on here with Australia, Italy and Norway trying to get in on the act. France really rather slipped off the pace here a bit, but this crew looks extremely confident here, and we know that they've got 2 or 3 gears that they can go to when the pressure comes on.
Interesting, Dan, often they quite enjoy the headwind conditions. Today, tailwind.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, people think that Redgrave doesn't really like a tailwind because he can't really use all his power, but he says no, he loves a tailwind. Athletes tend to like tailwinds. The race goes quicker, and the whole thing feels a little bit lighter. But here they are, about 3/4 of a length ahead, and really moving very sweetly indeed.
Well, interesting you mentioned Norway a few minutes ago, because they actually put in the fastest second 500, 1:27.81, but it hasn't really hauled them up into the main fight.
But here's the battle for the silver medal between Australia, who really have developed a lot of confidence through this regatta, and they're putting a lot of pressure now on Italy.
And there on the left there in the stroke seat, that's one of the 2 brothers, that's James Stewart. And go to the other end of the boat, that's Jeffrey Stewart, his twin brother. And the Australians, Miriam, not really fulfilled their potential.
Yeah, they've shown a lot of form in trials back in Australia, but they have not performed to the level of the awesome foursome, and the pressure was on them here to really go out and put a good performance in against the Italians and the rest of the field behind the Brits.
Well, the Australians now getting back on terms with the Italians, trying to push themselves into silver medal position. And you can see there's a fraction of clear water that the British have got over the closest 2 pursuers, and the Australians are really notching it up now.
Yeah, well, they're really battling it out there. The British are still at 37.5, still enjoying that cruise. With 500 metres to go, they've got a length. They've got a length, and Australia have just moved ahead of Italy. Italy now struggling a little bit. But the British still cruising, still on top of it.
And also interesting, Dan, that in this regatta, because of the way that the draw has worked out, Australia have until today not raced against the British 4. Yeah. So the chips are really down now.
Talking to the British crew earlier on in the week, they felt that they'd let New Zealand come back during the heats. They'd let New Zealand come back into the race. and they wanted to make sure that they put a good distance between them and New Zealand and Australia in this final. But here Italy have now just started to try and push back again. Italy have just nosed in front. These two crews really battling it out and putting pressure on the British, who are sitting now just a little bit under a length in front. Australia really moving. Australia taken back the lead from Italy. This is a fantastic battle here for the silver medal, and it's Britain now being pulled back a little bit as these two fight it out.
Yes, it's these three for the medals, and now we'll see whether Steve Redgrave calls for a little bit more. Matthew now using his immense strength now in that British boat.
And moving up again now. They see the danger from these two. And Matthew Pinson now with 250 metres to go. He's gone up to 38.5. He's gone up to 40. Now they begin to move. You can see him just open up. Look how that back opens up. And you can see how he's moving up now. 44, 45 as they cross the line. And it's Australia just pipping Italy. Quarter of a length behind. On the far side there, it's Norway. New Zealand coming in fourth place.
The British time, 2 seconds off the world best set by the Norwegians in Lucerne earlier in the season. Well, 3 of these men have been here before. One hasn't, though. Steve Redgrave gets his medal from Mike Sweeney, chairman of the competition commission, and then Ed Code, first time senior world champion. Special day.
Matthew Pinsent.